Why are BRIAR and Naafiri not super popular? I mean, what's your definition of popular? Both are quite literally above average. Like, quite literally, BRIAR and Naafiri are both above average popularity. The average play rate in League of Legends is about 3%, and both BRIAR and Naafiri are above that. If I was to say, though, like, what would gate their popularity, I would think that their kits do not fit into our balance strategy. What I mean by that is BRIAR and Naafiri are both characters who are very simple and straightforward to play. To make that worth doing in League of Legends, you probably at a baseline need to win more games. But the way our balance strategy works is we have a hard time buffing characters at high win rates. For good reason, right? And so the potential issue with BRIAR and Naafiri, like as an example with BRIAR, is personally, I think BRIAR is probably a little weak right now. But she also has a 51% win rate in low MMR. So it is hard to justify buffing her when her win rate is above 50%. That's not the case for a character like Ezreal. You know, a character like Ezreal, he just always gets to feel good because he has so much agency. So if I was to describe an issue with BRIAR and Naafiri, if we cared about popularity, which again, I think they're both doing fine, it's that simple characters do not really fit into the League of Legends balance strategy very well, compared to characters who feel really, really good at lower win rates. If your character feels really good at lower win rates, usually because they have like, you know, high agency, a lot of outplay potential or something, it tends to be, as long as they're not in pro play, I mean, pro play gets rough, but as long as they're not dominating pro play, it tends to be like fairly easy to like keep them at power levels that are satisfying. Whereas characters like BRIAR and Naafiri, they really have to be higher win rate to truly feel like they're functional. And it is harder to do that when our balance strategy is very win rate focused. Would you say Naafiri runs into the problem as an AD assassin? To me, an assassin player, she feels the worst of them? Possibly. Naafiri is intended to be a very simple character who's pretty straightforward. Right now, she's doing fine. Like, right now, like, Naafiri is completely average popularity, which I think is where you'd expect from the character. I'm not going to say that her kit is perfect, but, like, one of the things that's important about Naafiri is that she needs a level of power to make sense. So, when you are a simple character, one of the things you need is enough base stats to just win sometimes, because you don't have outplay potential, right? And so like a character like Garen, as an example, like what does Garen have in his camp? Well, he has the ability to stat check you and execute you, but that's only true if he has enough base stats to do it, right? And so it's a thing with like Garen or Naafiri or characters like that, where if they don't have enough base level power, their kits will start looking very non-functional very fast. Comparatively, Ezreal could have no power at all, and his kit will still look functional because he has all this outplay potential. So Ezreal can just be sitting there doing nothing, dashing around, continuing to do nothing, and he'll still feel like a powerful character because, oh, I totally outplayed them. It's like, bro, thanks for not contributing to the fight. He's like, don't worry, I'm super skillful. Bam, right? It's like, that's Ezreal. Whereas like a simple character to feel useful generally needs more baseline power to account for the fact that they don't just get to outplay you. A simple character has to do the thing they're good at, and it needs to just work. Because if it doesn't, then they're not good at that thing, right? Whereas a complex character will have lots of different things they can do to get around it, right? What do you think about mid lane assassins being one-trick champs? Wouldn't it be better to have more variety since Naafiri was unpopular for players like the class but don't want to commit to one-tricking? I mean, what does that mean by one-trick champs, right? Like, if you like assassins, you're probably going to play assassins, right? I don't think a mage player is going to be, like, actively switching between assassins and mages. That doesn't make sense to me, because, like, those are two different types of player things. So I guess I'm a little confused by what you mean by, like, one-trick champs. If you mean, like, if I like Zed, there's no other characters for me, that's like, oh, yeah, I could probably use some more AD assassins in mid. That's true. Also, Naafiri isn't unpopular when she's useful. I want to note that, like, Naafiri right now has, like, an above-average play rate. And maybe you could say that's because she's overpowered, but, like, I personally believe that Naafiri, to actually truly be a viable champion, has to be around 52 to 53% win rate. If she's lower win rate than that, she's legitimately terrible, just because of how simple she is. And right now, Naafiri is, like, she is played. She is not unpopular. She is like she actually has an above average play rate, and so I don't know. It depends on like what you believe her balance state should be, because I think there's a very reasonable argument that like, yeah, August, she's only played right now because she's OP. Have you seen her win rate? But my personal opinion is like that win rate is actually correct for a character like Naafiri because of how simple she is. And what happened is we kind of like, there was a patch where we like just nerfed her to like a 49 or 50% win rate, and like her play like collapsed. And like, well, if you think that's because she was OP, then I get it. But to me, I interpret that as like, yeah, well, yeah, no one's gonna play the character if she's not like some degree of viable. Of course, that's all personal opinion. I just have like, you'll know it from like coming to the stream, but like I have a very strong belief in terms of like win rate and what it means in regards to simple champions. Like if your champion is like very straightforward, they legitimately have to have a high win rate to be viable. I don't mean like, oh, we should bribe them with win rate. I mean like legitimately a Naafiri at 50% win rate is significantly worse than a Silas at the same win rate. And so that's kind of how I think about those things. What if Naafiri was a jungler? I do think Naafiri jungle would be cool if we made it viable. I think there's a lot of people who would enjoy that. No doubt. No doubt in my mind.
I've been playing Sivir and noticed her auto attacks have a lag. The actual projectiles are connected to the target but won't actually do the damage for about half a second. If that's happening, what's going on is Sivir's projectile visuals are desynced on the client and the server. This happens when a character's projectile comes out of something that's not their root. Their root meaning the exact center of their model. So a fun fact about League of Legends that maybe some of you don't know is the the server doesn't understand animations. The server knows where your character is. They know the exact location where your character is. But like if we make an animation that's like, I'll give an example of this is TEEMO actually, his blowgun, his blow dart thing, where he like goes like this and he does his blow dart and then it comes out from right here, right? If you ever paid attention to TEEMO on live, you'll notice that his missile doesn't actually come out of the tip of the blow dart, it comes out of the base. And the reason that happens, the reason we do that is because if it came out of the tip of the blow dart, the server wouldn't know that. The server wouldn't know that we said, hey, visually this should come out from the tip of the blow dart. And so on the server, it's still coming out of the base, whereas on the client, it's coming out of the tip of the blow dart. And the end result that then happens is on your client, the thing hits earlier than you would expect, and you get delayed damage. So there's sometimes with a character you need to adjust where the missile comes out, and so I would wonder if because Sivir, she kind of like extends her arm to throw the blades, maybe the blades are coming out too far from her center, causing a desync.